Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, 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 oh,
I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Running like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. Shout out to the Who Dat Nation. Big ups to the Great Saint Think Tank. We up in this thing. Appreciate you guys joining me for another installment of the Sports Coma. It is Thursday edition of the Sports Coma. We up in this thing. I appreciate you guys for chiming in this thing. I'm your humble host most of the times, Big Q. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all for joining me, and much love to the Great Saint Think Tank. A lot of things twisting and turning. This has been a very interesting week, to be honest with you. But hey, baby, we here, baby, we here. Shout out to brother Dave Collins for hitting that follow button on Facebook. Much love to my Facebook family. Thank you guys. Christopher Neal, shout out to you as well, sir. Appreciate you listening from there. Tony Scott, shout out from you as well. Big ups to my brother, AK the Scientist. Super Chat says, boogie like Benson. I'm a who that. I got a shirt coming out with that, man. So that's a good sentiment. It brings a lot of laughter. So thank you, my brother, for that super chat. Appreciate you. And shout out to the entire Great Saint Think Tank family members up in this thing. Let me get a quick roll call if you don't mind. Please feel free to hit the like button, family, as you're chiming in. Give me a who that. I give you a who that back. Teflon Don, Elite, Barbara, what's up, baby? Neville, brother Prom is in this thing. Carla's in this thing. Tori, what's happening, my brother? Oz, Mike, Cheryl, what's popping? Queen GM Kev, it's Poppy 504. Shout out to Stephen Lancaster for smashing the subscribe button. Thank you, brother Stephen. Appreciate you, my friend. Welcome to the fam. Oh, wait, what's up, fam? Highway AD's in the building. Good to see you, brother. Appreciate you popping in. Brother Derek's in the stream. Ant-Man, a.k.a. the Scientist. Thank you for that super chat as well. Again, Josh Goat 23. Much love, fam. Appreciate you. My boy Marley Mall's in this thing. Trey Joseph, shout out to you. KK, what's popping, baby? All right, shout out to everybody. Nola's East 74. What's up, fam? Appreciate you, bro, stopping by again. All right, Young City Night Ward's in this thing. Edward Green's in this thing. Shout out to you, fam. Terry, what's up, Terry? Good to see you, my family. Appreciate you, bro. All right, who else we got chiming in? Well, I think I got everybody, man. No, I don't. Gundam, what's up, bro? Gundam, shout out to you, man. Much love to you, brother. Brian's in this thing as well. Good to see Brian Pearson. All right, who else we got chiming in? Chris Parker, shout out to you, Chris. Good to see you, fam. As well, Chris says, we never went forward with Winston. He was 5-2, got hurt, came back, got hurt again, then went to Dalton, who got beat out by Winston. Never gave Winston his job back. Very shady. Thank you, Chris. Shout out to you. Good breakdown. Dewan, shout out to you, bro. Total Truth, Todd, shout out to you. Says, if I'm Winston, get me out of here. Get me out of here. Next season blames can go elsewhere. Allen is incompetent to begin with. He's stupid. He's stupid enough to bring back Dinosaur Dalton. Teams trying to win makes moves. D8, nope. Thank you, David. Appreciate you. David Lasson. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Shout out to you, Dave. Appreciate you smashing that like button and welcome to the fam. All right, who else we got? I want to make sure I get it. What's up, Boo? Shout out to Boo. OG Jerry Paul. You can't forget the OG. All right, shout out, brother St. Doug is in this thing as well. Shout out to you, my friend. Tragic 504, brother Tragic. Good to see you, fam. Hoodie, what's up, my boy? Hoodie's in this in the thing as well. And big ups to everybody, man. If I brother Jarrell, I see you, Jarrell. Shout out to you, Saints Pale Nation. I see you, fam. Appreciate you, Matt. What's up, Matt? O. Wallace, Mark Patterson. Shout out to you, fam. Much love to you guys. Charles, what's up? Charles Spain in the building. Brother Byron Parker as well. So good to see you guys as well. Joshua, I see you, fam. Appreciate you as well. Much love to the fam, man. I always like to try to give shots out to the entire family. King Francis, I see you, fam. Appreciate you as well. Brother Slade, shout out to you. Always try to give shout outs to the family members because without you, we don't have a show. It's just me sitting up here making impersonations of Reverend Saint and Mickey Lomas. Yeah, hold on now. What's up, Tyler? Shout out to you, bro. And we got and all that kind of swagged out entertainment. Shout out, bro. So what we got? What's up, Snakebite? So pretty much what's going on, fam, is I'm gonna play some stuff for you guys by Jeff Ireland for president, assistant general manager. He's the guy that makes the twist and turn on a lot of this scouting, a lot of that, and we have a good scouting staff. But Jeff Ireland, his gift in terms of looking for talent has just been blessing the Saints, and not just in the draft scenario, but also in the undrafted market. This guy is very thorough, and we were very fortunate as one of the great hires the Saints did in the Sean Payton administration was to bring Jeff Ireland in here, which, you know, he was a general manager with the Miami Dolphins prior to coming to New Orleans, but he's done a fantastic job in bringing talent here. I got to give it to the man. So outside of that, I'm going to play his latest interview. If you guys didn't hear that, I'm going to play some of that. Then we're going to cover the story this show is named after today, which is the Saints appear ready to move on from Jameis Winston. Now, the Great Saint Think Tank understand and know that this is not anything new. But, you know, when you hear them say it, it's a different thing. Now, you can read the tea leaves in the body language. The stuff that happened with Jameis Winston over this past season when he called out Dennis Stinking Allen for what he did in violating one of the core tenets of the NFL, which is a player cannot lose his job due to injury, which is exactly what happened to Jameis Winston. Now, it would have been different if he'd have brought Jameis back, and then he threw 5 interceptions in 2 games, and then he had to be benched again for Andy Dalton. That is not what happened. You know, Dennis Allen decided to bench him in some kind of way. I'm telling you, it just didn't stay with him going to Dennis Allen. I'm telling you, you got a $28 million quarterback and a Dennis Allen, a penny coach, going up and him telling them, no, I really do think that he went to Mickey and Mickey didn't handle the business right. If I'm the general manager and I got a beef with my quarterback that I'm paying $20+ million to over the next 2 years, and my coach, I'm going to bring both of these guys to the office and I'm going to get this hashed out. I'm going to make sure Dennis Allen upholds the principles and the tenets that a guy can't lose his job due to injury. But this is what happens. Jameis blows the whistle to the press. Dennis Allen gets petty and benches him for the rest of the season. Called it at the time, told you won't see him for the rest of the season. And despite whatever Andy Dalton did, which is throw interceptions, they'll cover up, make excuses for him, all this kind of stuff. And that is exactly what they did. So at the end of the day, I would definitely think that Jameis is a guy, who should be up out of here. He got totally disrespected. And then the trust was broken between the coach and the quarterback. And that's why you've seen the fracture. Family, listen, and I'm going to get into the interview just a second. But this is the most interesting thing about the dynamic between the two. Like if you watch football, right, especially in the pros, when you see the quarterback, if you got a problem with the coach and the quarterback, your team going to lose. Think about it. Look what happened to the Arizona Cardinals. There are many examples. If there's an issue with the coach and the quarterback, your team's not going to be successful. They're not, because those are 2 important positions that have to be solved for you to have success at that level. You've got to have a coach and an on-code quarterback that's on-code with him together, and then they build forward. Well, the quarterback situation was just a mess, and it didn't get any better toward the end of the season, and then Dennis Allen got real petty. So at the end of the day, you've seen it suffer. You've seen it happen in Arizona when there was a fracture between Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. Kingsbury gets fired after getting that extension. He gets shown the door. Kyler Murray don't come back until the middle of the 2023 season. We covered that, which is probably I think is one of the reasons why Payton went to Denver, is because he knew when he was making his decision. He had that interview 2 days after that interview. I covered this on TSC Q&A Live. 2 days after that interview, there was a report that came out that said that Kyler Murray was not going to be ready until the middle of the 2023 season. Coach Payton heard that and said, oh crap. He heard that, fam. He was like, oh, no, that do it for me. So, and then, of course, he said, well, Q, he could have waited for him. Well, guess who his backup was? Colt McCoy. He says, Denver is the spot. But anyway, with that being said, shout out to the fan. Appreciate y'all. Do me a service. Feel free to hit. What's up, Terrence? Shout out to you, bro. I see you. Jeremy, shout out to you. Good to see you, fam. Appreciate you as well. The Truth Hurts is in the building. John Horst, good to see you, fam. Appreciate you stopping by as well. And much love to the fam. Appreciate everybody. Hit the like button if you didn't get a chance to hit that damn like button. Hit it for me, and we'll get going in this thing. So we're going to start it off with the interview from Jeff Ireland. If you guys didn't hear, like to hear it go. Put 1 in the chat if you can hear it, fam.
Well, I was excited for us. I'm excited for Sean. It's look, I'm in charge of the draft, so more draft picks for our staff and our team, and that's exciting. So looking forward to getting to work a little bit more in the first round.
How important was it to get the draft pick this year? There was some talk, depending on what team it was, it might be a 2024 first rounder. How important was it for you to get it this season?
Look, I think the discussions were, wherever we got it, we were going to be fine with it. So,
as far as discussions with Mickey, obviously you're out in the loop with everything. Was it a process that came together quickly? Was it something with Sean in Denver that had been days in the works?
When I got involved, it was just in the last couple of days. But I'm sure Mickey and Sean and maybe Denver were were in discussions long before I
Thank
got
y'all,
involved.
fam.
So I mean, I was involved, but that's a Mickey question, to be honest with you.
Everyone has different.
Oh, hold on. Who called me? Hold on here. Who said that's a Mickey question here? Oh, what's going on here? Who said that? Who said my name?
And maybe Denver were in discussions long before I got involved. So I mean, I was involved, but that's a Mickey question, to be honest with you.
Everyone has different.
Oh, there it is again.
But as far as you were involved, can you explain the process and maybe why it's hard to get the compensation? I guess everyone.
Look, again, those are Mickey questions. I'll be honest with you. There's no Mickey questions. They're above my pay grade. I know that I felt in my studies, I thought it was really good compensation. That's what I'll give you my opinion. I thought it was really good compensation.
Did you set the bar at? I mean, again, your opinion at a first-round draft pick. Was that what you thought?
I felt like it was worth that, at least. Yeah.
I know you have a close relationship with Sean.
Ask them about the 3rd round pick. It's like the elephant in the room. It's like the goddamn elephant in the room. Ask them about the 3rd round pick. I think it's adequate compensation. I think we got it. I mean, can we ask them about the 3rd round pick? I mean, can we get some serious questions? Why would you give up a 3rd? Notice they're not going to ask them about the 3rd round pick. You know, the trade is the trade. I just got one question. Isn't Sean Payton good enough to get a 1st and a 2nd? Even if that's what we're going to get, a 1st and a 2nd round pick. But why did we need to surrender a 3rd round pick back to Sean Payton? Why? Why would we need to do that? And they're going to act like that 3rd round pick don't exist. Because it's the elephant in the room. That's why I say, man, you know what? That's why I love you guys. I got to give a shout out to the Great Saint Think Tank. I've been doing this a lot lately because, number one, I appreciate you guys for giving me your time. I appreciate you guys for giving me your intelligence and being here and, you know, just being who you are. And number three, you know, a place where we can talk outside of just believing what these people say and not analyzing what they're saying. Like we just supposed to take what they say and run with it without going over it. You know what I'm saying? It's just amazing, man. You know, what about the 3rd round pick? It's the elephant in the room. Okay, we got a 1st and a 2nd. All right, fine. All right, but what about why we had to surrender a 3rd round pick to get Payton out of here? Why? Please answer that. I tell you, man.
Have you talked to him through the process and throughout any of this, or what is, you know, I guess your status, the two of you all communicating still?
No, I have not talked to him. The last time I saw him was in Arizona. I think bunch of us had dinner with him, but that's the last time I talked to him.
Did it start to feel like maybe it wasn't going to happen this year?
There was a moment that we thought it might not happen. So again, I wasn't involved with all these conversations. That was again above my pay grade, and that was between Mickey and Sean and the Broncos.
I'm telling you.
So, but yeah, you know, on the outside, I mean, it felt like it, but I'm glad we got it done.
Jeff, how much more flexibility do you guys feel like you have now that you do have that 1st round pick? Does it open up more options? Just kind of how does that affect things?
Well, it does. I mean, it doesn't really change our process as it relates to the draft. I mean, we're always going to evaluate every single player as if we had a top 5 pick, a 15th pick, or a 29th pick. So it doesn't really change the way we do things or the way we approach the draft. But it does give us more flexibility. It gives us at least one more good player this year that we can add to our football team. We're excited about that.
Right. Well, that's what I was thinking, y'all.
How much does that help you with just the information gathering process?
It helps a ton, to be honest with you. That was by design. We volunteered those coaches. They volunteered. We nominated them. And we'll get great information from each of them. I think the process that they go through, they're sitting in the meeting rooms with those guys. That's more access than I'll ever get with them in terms of time with these players. I always liked coaching the Senior Bowl if we ever had the opportunity. I did it once in Miami. We had great access to the players. You really need time with players to really understand who they are and what their capacity to learn is, and just a little bit behind closed doors really helps. So having 4 coaches here is going to help us.
Do you prep them kind of like, you know, hey, ask them these questions, take these kind of notes, like you tell them kind of what to look for?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. We give them a little cheat sheet, and these are the things that we need to know, and they'll go through it and ask those questions, and hopefully we'll get the answers.
Like I said about Jeff Ireland, man, Jeff Ireland has been a blessing to the New Orleans Saints organization. I'm just gonna keep it real. His ability to scout talent and just find guys like really good, solid football players has really helped out the Saints. Really, it cut down to a great degree of the failures that we taken in the drafted portion, 1st through 7th round of the draft. And whatever we don't get, it's like, think about it like this. If we pressing to get a certain type of position that's not available, and we know that at some point, whoever falls, there's always players that fall through the cracks after the draft, and we end up getting these undrafted. We get the best undrafted guys. We always do, because we have a reputation of putting these guys on the team, giving them opportunities to get playing time. I mean, you have guys like Deontay Harty, who turned into a Pro Bowler for the Saints. You had guys like JT Gray, another undrafted guy that they found who's a Pro Bowl special teamer. So, I mean, you find guys that are core special team aces like Dwayne Washington, another undrafted guy. Then you find contributors in rotations like Shy Tuttle and the rest of these guys like Malcolm Roach, Shy Tuttle. Then you find guys like Rashid Shaheed, who is just basically Deontay Harty this year, and more. And then you find other guys to fill in, the special team positions and the depth pieces. And some of them become real core guys like Carl Granderson. Granderson was a guy that came on and has really done a lot of good stuff. So the Saints have done a real phenomenal job of finding undrafted talent. Even the guys that are not even playing, that's on the practice squad, these guys are talented. We're talking about Kirk Merritt, who didn't give a chance, to be really spotlighted this past season. Lucas Krull, the big tight end from Pitt, he's a really good one. So the Saints have done a really phenomenal job in finding undrafted talent, so they're not pressed in the draft to locate a certain position. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, let's finish up with Ireland.
Did you feel like it was important for the organization to get the Sean Payton situation done and not have it sort of hanging over the team all of this coming football season? Was that important in the building?
Look, we're on to Dennis Allen and his staff, and we're the New Orleans Saints, and who am I to say, was it important? I mean, look, I got a job to do. We all have a job to do. And, we're going to go do it.
It pretty much says that, no, it's not. It's not, man, it's Dennis Allen's team. It's not Sean Payton's team. It's Dennis Allen's team. So we're not going to let some weak-ass talking point be, well, Sean Payton was looming over the top of the franchise. That's why the Saints were distracted and lost games. That's not it. That's an excuse. Well, we had a bunch of injuries. That's why we only won 7 games. Partial credit. The reality is, no, you're professionals. You are professionals, and you're certainly paid like professionals. You are professionals, so you are supposed to, despite distractions, as a professional now, not an amateur, but as a professional, a true professional, you're supposed to win despite distractions. Now, I ask you this. What's larger? What's larger? A larger distraction? And I said this the last show. Alvin Kamara stumping the guy in the grape juice. How about Marcus May, the safety, allegedly involved in the road rage incident in which involved a gun and several 17-year-old or whatever juvenile women in another car with him? They saying that they're, allegedly brandished his gun at them. Is that, which one is the biggest distraction? So the thing is, Dennis Allen accepted the job knowing that he was stepping in the shoes of a great. Sean Payton is the greatest coach ever coached the New Orleans Saints. He's the most winningest coach in franchise history. He's a Super Bowl winning coach. You see? And Dennis Allen is not. He only got the job because of the blessing of Sean Payton telling Dennis Allen, "Oh, well, listen here. Don't tell him that, Q. Let me tell you something. Don't tell him that." Well, I'm going to tell him, Mickey, because it's the truth. The truth is, you gave the job to Dennis Allen because Sean Payton told you to. Hire Dennis Allen. No other team in the NFL would have hired Dennis Allen for no head coaching position. Come on. He only got the job because of Sean Payton, not on his resume. He didn't do enough based on some of the guys the Saints were interviewing. He most certainly, if it was based on resume, Doug Peterson should have got the job, to be honest with you. Doug Peterson came. He was the first person they interviewed. He had a Super Bowl ring, the same amount of rings that Sean Payton had, which was 1. So, and they said, well, Q, he was gone. He didn't get a chance. No, you had first dibs at him. You had first dibs at him. You know? So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you as a professional, you have to win regardless if there's things going on outside of the team or inside of the team. That is the point of being a professional. Let's finish up, fam.
What do you enjoy the most about being here at the Senior Bowl?
At the Senior Bowl?
Yeah.
Well, I love having the opportunity to sit down with the player. You've been studying these players and sometimes 2 years ahead of the time you get a chance to really draft them. So, and for me, I didn't go to the East-West game this year. This is the first time I've been able to sit down and talk to a player, you know, person to person, getting to know them, asking them tough questions, getting some answers that I've had questions on for, you know, months and months. And it's not just me; it's our staff, all of our coaches, and our scouts getting those questions answered. And then we sit around and we powwow on the things that we've learned from the day, and that's exciting to get those answers.
So when you're doing the interview process for the first time, what are some of the traits you want to see out of these players?
Self-awareness, you know, where they are in the world, you know, I mean, intelligence.
That was quick.
Those are probably the two most important
self-awareness.
things we're looking at. Just as again, we're getting 15 minutes with them. Sometimes I call it the speed dating rounds. And you get 4 at a time, and you got to really kind of get in there and ask these questions, and then they're on to the next date. So, but those are 2 things that we're looking for.
Any more emphasis? Any more emphasis than normal this year on the quarterback position at all?
Again, our process really doesn't change. I mean, you know, when you had Drew, I mean, you kind of knew you're pretty much taken care of in that regard. And
thank you, Jet. Thank you for hitting the subscribe
we have,
button, bro. Welcome to the family.
You know, 1 free agent quarterback and a practice squad quarterback under contract. So we do take it a little bit more serious this year because we need to find one.
What
Jeff,
is your thought
we need to
process on
find
the
one.
quarterback? Is it just kind of, you know, early in the draft? Do you feel like you can find guys in value rounds? Like
let's replay that for a second, fam, because that's what.
You know, 1 free agent quarterback and a practice squad quarterback really doesn't change. I mean, you know, when you had Drew, I mean, you kind of knew you're pretty much taken care of in that regard. And so, you know, we have you know, 1 free agent quarterback and a practice squad quarterback under contract. So we do take it a little bit more serious this year because we need to find one.
What is your
Need to
thought
find
process
one.
on the quarterback? Is it just kind of, you know, early in the draft? Do you feel like you can find guys in value rounds? Like just kind of your opinion on drafting. I mean, you drafted Book before. Just your thought on, you know, when
You know,
a guy you like.
it all depends. You got to have the right traits. You got to have the right traits. You got to have the right intelligence. Quarterback in the history of the game is generally you have to take one early. The Tom Brady's haven't really been out there in the 6th round very often. We were able to acquire one in Dallas, Tony Romo in free agency, and you know, that's a little bit of, you know, luck of the draw. But you have to usually select the really good ones early. There's a reason why they're up there in the top of the draft. But you're looking for traits. You're looking for processing speed, accuracy, you know, all the traits that you're looking for. So I don't know that, you know, right now we're just gathering information on the quarterbacks, on all the quarterbacks. Again, it's the first time we've ever chance to talk to them. But we've seen all the tape. We've evaluated the player. Now we're evaluating the person.
Jeff, there's some teams that like to take a swing at that every couple of years. It sounds like you like to be a little bit more deliberate and has to be maybe the right guy. Like, do you have a philosophy on that, or?
Yeah, it has to be the right guy. I mean, that's you know, you just don't want to be, you know, throwing darts. I mean, you need to be a lot more accurate and decisive on who the person is, and because I think we fall in love with quarterbacks really fast, and we fall out of love with quarterbacks very fast. So you have to be very deliberate, in my opinion.
Who's we? The media, or even teams?
Teams in general, yeah, sure, everybody does. Yeah.
How much further will you, like, if every other position, you know, if they're great as a 90, you take them now. How much further will you go up for a quarterback? Like, will you
good question, Joe. Mike Triplett
in round 2
is awesome, man. Mike Triplett always asks the best questions. Love Mike
Well,
Triplett.
you have to put yourself in a position to get the players that you love, and in the scenario that you're talking about, that's a very hypothetical scenario.
Moving up,
you have to put yourself in position to get the players. You got to trust your scouts. You got to trust your coaches. You got to trust your evaluations. And if you
Well, I trust my scouts. I don't know about that other one.
love someone, you know, you love him in the second round, probably, you know, you got to go get him. In other words, you got to go get him. So that'd be my philosophy.
Is that Hendon
With the
Hooker?
Rookie of the Year award coming up, what's your opinion on the season Olave had?
I think Chris had a great season, to be honest with you. Look, we were a little bit in flux with the quarterback position early on, and he kept making plays, and he really kind of exactly what we thought he would be. Very polished, very fast. The fact that he had to be the number one guy when Mike went down early on in his rookie season, I thought he performed very well. Extremely excited about Chris and his future here. As much as we are, Trevor and Alante and DeMarco, we're excited about all our draft picks. We think they got huge upsides. So the answers, Rookie of the Year. I mean, yeah, it'd be great to, throw on his resume, and I'm rooting for him. If I had a vote, I'd vote for him. So I'm excited about all the rookies.
Do you remember anything from the scouting process on him that just jumps out to you almost a year later?
Yeah, the fact that he's a very polished person as well as a polished receiver.
And then let's stop it right there. And then what Jeff Ireland does, he kind of reworks it and talks about how really good Chris Olave is. But really the sticking point that I want the family members to kind of keep in their mind is what he said about the quarterback position. And Jameis, we won't say too much about Jameis. He did lay out a few things, and he did mention some characteristics here that I want to go over here as we get into this article right here from the Bleacher Report. Saints appear ready to move on from Jameis Winston. Now, this was according to the interview that I just played for you guys here. Jameis Winston signed a 2-year deal to remain in New Orleans this offseason, but he may not be around for the final year of the deal. When we need to find one, you just heard it, the Saints Vice President and Assistant General Manager Jeff Ireland said recently when asked about the team's plan at the QB position, he said, it has to be the right guy, got to have the right traits, got to have the right intelligence. In the history of the game, generally, you have to take one early. So early, first round, second round, the Saints have a 29th selection and a second round pick, right? I don't see... and they do have some quarterbacks. Now, if you look at this the way the draft is lining up according to the team's records, you can basically see this first round might leave. Like last year was one quarterback, and that was the guy from Pittsburgh, Ryan Pickett or Ryan, whatever his name is. I forget his name. Y'all put it in chat. The rookie quarterback that beat us. But this year could change drastically, most certainly. You got Bryce Young, you have C.J. Stroud, you got Hendon Hooker, who's hurt right now, but rehabbing well according to some of the reports. I don't know if he'll be ready for the combine, but if he wasn't hurt, this guy's a first-round draft pick. Now the Saints might be fortunate to get him to fall to him in to the second round, but if he's there, the thing is there'll be a quarterback there, a really good one. The thing is, do the Saints pull the trigger on the quarterback, and Dennis Allen's the decision maker. This season right here, Dennis Allen, if he don't win this season, he's going to get fired. This is the bottom line. The Who Dat Nation is not going to allow Dennis Allen to go into a third year. They know that because what's going to end up happening is that the New Orleans Saints are going to see when the season starts that they're going to see a lot of people staying away from the team. A lot of the stuff that's going on, because if you have to have a glitzy off season to a degree to build up, some support or some excitement is the best word there. Some excitement for the upcoming season. And all of you seen so far are very melancholy, milquetoast moves at best. Because whoever you're letting out, are you going to bring in the same type of talent to keep it all up? This is the key here. And I got some articles I'm going to go over with you guys, so I don't want you to get mad. Yeah, thank you, Mario, Kenny Pickett. So you guys going to see, I don't want you to get mad, take your blood pressure medicine or sip on something or whatever you got. Because I'm going to walk through this with you on this one. Now, anyway, let's finish this up. He said he has to be the right guy. I don't know if Dennis Allen is what I'm saying, the previous comment. I don't know if Dennis Allen is going to take a quarterback in the first or second round for the New Orleans Saints this upcoming year because his job is on the line. You think Dennis Allen is going to rely on a rookie quarterback? Just saying. It's a big call because he's not going to get into no year 3. He's under the burner and sitting on the hot seat, both him and, hold on now, that guy. All right, Ireland's statement that the team needs to find someone, the right intelligence. Damn, shot at Jameis. Feels like a shot at Winston and the perpetuation of a stereotype about black quarterbacks. Well, listen, I don't know what the guy meant at Jameis. But then again, if you think about it, even though Jameis is on the team, we know Jameis is not going to be a member of this team. They disrespected him. How could you go and play for Dennis Allen after what he did you last year? Now, don't get me wrong. Jameis is matured as a person here. He could say, let's let bygones be bygones. I see that happening with Jameis Winston. I don't see that happening with Dennis Allen. They never wanted Jameis Winston here. That's the proof. That's the positive. That's why they chased down Deshaun Watson. And when he turned them away, they settled on Jameis. So, this might be an opportunity to get from up under Jameis. And I think the Saints are probably going to end up doing it. Dennis Allen wants to pick his own quarterback. And something tell me it might be the guy that used to play for the Raiders. It's all lining up to be relatively simple, isn't it, family? Winston started the first 3 games of the season suffering multiple fractures in his lower back in week 1. Glad he said that. Think that severely hampered them in the next 2 games. Love that because he's giving it to you like it is. In week 4, head coach Dennis Allen started journeyman Andy Dalton. Even with Jameis Winston healthy and the offense sputtering, Allen refused to return to the team's opening day starter. Instead, Dalton started for the rest of the season. We covered that. The results were mediocre, as one would expect a team led by Dalton this late in his career. The lowest points came in week 18 and lost to Carolina when the defense only allowed 32 passing yards. How did you lose that game? I go back and I asked that question because I remember I was watching some of that stream a couple of, last week or something. It just popped up and I was watching it. And I remember going at the statistics. You only had 32 passing yards in the game. They was on shutdown. How did we lose? It just don't make any sense. But Winston, 6-4 in 2 seasons as a starter. New Orleans completed 168 of 276, 61% with his passes for over 2,000 yards, 18 touchdowns against 8 interceptions. Not bad in the couple of years that he was in. He was 6-4 as a starter. So when you put his whole body of work together, remember to do that. As his starter in the New Orleans building, threw 18 touchdowns against 8 interceptions with a 61% completion percentage. That's not bad at all, family. Not bad at all. All right, so he suffered in 21. He suffered a season-ending ACL tear against the Bucs. He showed enough promise during his first 6 games as a starter that the team re-signed him to a 2-year deal at $28 million during the 2022 season. I always downplay the numbers, but you gave $20+ million to Jameis over 2 years, then just relegated him to a backup man. The Saints would save almost $13 million by designating him as a post-June 1st cut. You don't think the Saints do that? You don't think they do that? Thank you, Greg. He says, I really want to hear Winston's side about all this. Yeah, it's coming, bro. Eventually it's coming because at some point this has to hash itself out. It has to, it's coming. All right, so the Saints would save almost $13 million by designating him as a post-June 1st cut. Once again, thank you, Greg, for that. So you don't think the Saints are going to, which they don't want Jameis, by the way. Rumors are linking them to other people out there. And you don't think they're going to say, boom, hit them with the axe and get almost $13 million back? And they don't really want Jameis anyway. They were non-committing about Jameis. They wasn't saying Jameis is our quarterback. You hear Mickey come out and say nothing about it. Oh, well, listen here. I'm not going to commit to that. I'm not going to say anything about that. I'll talk to Dennis. Yeah, okay, Mickey. But New Orleans have the assets now to grab a new quarterback after acquiring a first-round pick for Denver for Sean Payton. For whatever reason, the Saints starting QB doesn't appear to be Winston. He was never given much of an opportunity anyway. And like we said, they didn't really want Jameis Winston down here. They settled on Winston. I can keep it real and tell y'all and just keep it real about that, fam. We knew that. So it is ending up what is going to end the way it was supposed to end. But the cold-blooded part about it is you could at least gave him 2 years to figure it out. So you mean to tell me Dennis Allen gets 2 years, but Jameis Winston don't? You know, how's that work? Anyway, let's move on. This is the next one here. We got Coach Richard, and Ryan Nielsen goes to the Atlanta Falcons to be their defensive coordinator. That's number one. So their defense is going to get better against your offense next year. That's number one. Number two is the Saints interviewed Joe Woods for the defensive coach position. And I'm like, who the hell is Joe Woods? After losing both co-defensive coordinators, remember Chris Richard, we covered that yesterday, that Coach Richard and the Saints agreed to part ways. Some said he was fired. Some said he simply agreed. Because this is the thing. And we talked about this on the Sports Coma in the Great Saint Think Tank. Put one in the chat, you know, for people that probably didn't watch the show or just joining us for the very first time. Put one in the chat for our more experienced family members that heard us talk about the fact that the defensive coordinator position in New Orleans is not really a defensive coordinator. It is a assistant coach position, and Dennis Allen is the coordinator. Put one in the chat if you heard me say that before. And that is what's going on here. Coach Richard and Coach Nielsen do not want to be somebody's assistants. That's what the co-coordinator position is. If you're a defensive coordinator, they want to call their own plays and run their defense, just like he let Pete Carmichael run his offense without interfering. Defensive coordinator, you had two co-coordinators, didn't have any responsibilities. They were basically position coaches. One was a defensive line coach. The other guy was a special teams coach, right? As a defensive coordinator, you get to call the plays for your defense and set up your defense the way you want it to be. That's how it worked. Dennis Allen's not looking for that. We're going to cover that. And matter of fact, I should have had I'm going to see if I could pull it up. The interview where I think it's Ian Rappaport was talking about this and making mention of it. And I said, I knew that. I knew that was one of the reasons why these men wanted to go, because they want to call the plays. And Ian Rappaport basically said that Dennis Allen is going to play. He said it verbatim. I'm saying what he said verbatim is that Dennis Allen will call plays for the defense in the upcoming year, which means whoever you have as a defensive coordinator is only that in name. They're not going to actually be coordinating no defenses. Dennis Allen will be calling the plays. He'll be running the defense. So he basically wants a defensive assistant. That's pretty much what this is. And if this is what it is, Joe Woods, who got fired by Cleveland for Schwartz, the former Detroit head coach, and he did some other stops along the way, Jim Schwartz. They took an axe to Joe Woods. Get it? Axe Woods. All right, whatever. The Palacero of the NFL Network reports on Thursday that New Orleans Saints will interview. Just the interview. They're not signing this guy. Cleveland Browns fired defensive coordinator Joe Woods for their own defensive coordinator position. Saints 7-10 under first year coach Allen, defensive coordinator Dennis Allen last year, and former defensive coordinator. Allen is the defensive coordinator. The Saints ranked 5th in total defense and 2nd against the pass in 2022, but just 24th against the run and 30th in turnovers forced. So that's just going. So you remember Coach Richard's special team units was one of the best in the league. He gets fired or resigns or however it goes. Dan Richard, one of their best and most versatile men, he gets fired. These guys, some of your best guys that won with Payton but can't win with this other guy we got sitting up here. Anyway, 24th against the run. Remember, you were always top 5, top 10. Just last year, you were top 5. How did you go bottom 25 to 30? How'd that work? How do you went from 25 on back? That's crazy. 24th against the run, giving up 120 to 130 something yards a games in some cases. Absolutely crazy. Knowing that he the defensive man, he being Dennis Allen, knowing that, seeing that Sunday after Sunday, did nothing to correct it. Sit up there and watched it closer than you are to your screen looking at it. Sit up there looking at it every game and allow it to happen. Some games the Saints did stop it, but when them people turned to run on, they took it from the Saints. They took it from them. All right, so anyway, the turnovers, in addition to Allen, the unit was also run by co-defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen and Chris Richard. Nielsen, also a defensive line coach, left the Saints last week to accept the defensive coordinator position for Atlanta, a real coordinator position. On Wednesday, the Saints announced that they would not retain Richard, also the secondary coach. Linebackers coach Mike Hodges is the only position coach still currently on the staff. Now, you do have some assistants like Corey Robinson, who oversaw the safeties last year. I'm thinking he might get a boost up to secondary coach. We'll see. And will be the defensive coach for a defensive back coach for the American team in the Senior Bowl as it stands. Now, more about Woods. The 52-year-old Joe Woods had been the defensive coordinator for Cleveland since 2020, replaced by Jim Schwartz this season. In 3 seasons with the Browns, Woods oversaw one of the better units in the league, including a 5th-ranked defense in 21. Before joining Cleveland, Woods was the defensive coordinator for the Broncos in 2017 and 2018, the DB's coach in Denver from the previous 2 years. He served as the secondary coach for the Niners for 2019, the Raiders in 2014, 2016, 2006 to 2013. He was with the Vikings and Buccaneers 04 to 05. So this guy had been around. Woods was the defensive backs coach under Dennis Allen for the Raiders in 2014 and was fired 4 games, and Allen was fired 4 games in 2014. He's putting the band back together. Hey, family, Dennis Allen's getting that old band back together. Y'all excited? Dennis Allen is getting the band back together. He got Woods here. I'm about to call the man L Woods. Joe Woods. He pulled him out of the pulled him out the forest somewhere, and now you got him, and he worked with Dennis Allen back in 2014. So he getting the band back together. I laugh because it's funny. Shout out to Bob, man, for this article, man, covering it. All right, and let's go to a real funny. If that one tickle you, let me tickle you with this one if you ain't laughing yet. Report, listen to this one. 3 coaches to Sean Payton's report links 3 coaches to Sean Payton's new Broncos coaching staff. If you ain't hear about this one, kindly listen. Sean Payton is beginning to build his coaching staff with the Denver Broncos. We talked about this. Now that the Broncos landed Payton, all eyes have turned to how the new coach will set about building his staff. With Vic Fangio officially out of the mix, we know that Payton has been talking to Evero and possibly returning to the Broncos defensive coordinator position. Now, Evero is under contract still and could be persuaded to get excited about staying in Denver if it meant working under a head coach like Payton. Then again, it is possible Evero could land one of the remaining head coaching jobs, which he's a candidate for. So that would be a good job. But more likely, the NFL is telling Evero that he needs 1 more year as a coordinator to fully ripen on the head coaching vine. Nah, man, go ahead and see what you can get. Look at Dennis Allen, man. What you talking about? The ripen on the vine. Man, you ain't nothing guaranteed to you. Look at Dennis Allen. If anything's showing you in it, you can't be any worse than Dennis Allen. Go take a shot. Take a shot. But what if Evero rebuffs Payton? It's possible considering he refused the Broncos interim head coaching job after his long life friend Nathaniel Hackett was fired. He's just honorable dude. If Evero wants out of Denver, Payton will have no shortage of options to replace him as the defensive coordinator. On the other side of the ball, there are a couple of coaches that 9 News, Mike Kliss, has already linked to Payton in Denver. And he's saying other coaches, assistants in the mix to join Payton's staff in Denver are his former Saints quarterbacks coach, Joe Lombardi, who was fired from his position as the Chargers offensive coordinator, former Saints offensive line and tight ends coach, Dan Richard, former defensive back coach, Chris Richard, and Richard and Richard were recently let go by second-year head coach, Dennis Allen. Lombardi's name cachet was dimmed somewhat after he unceremoniously was fired by the Chargers. However, him and Payton have a long storied history. Lombardi served under Payton for 12 of his 16 seasons and worked closely with Drew as the position coach and go between Payton. And remember, it'll be Payton calling the offensive plays in Denver. Richard would be an obvious choice for Payton as he sets about rebuilding the offensive line. So you get offensive line coach. Saints just keep helping. The Saints are the gift that keeps giving, especially to Sean Payton. Way after the fact, Richard helped Payton glean excellent O-line results for 5 years. They're going to line it up. It wouldn't surprise me to see Payton top Richard as offensive coordinator in Denver if things don't work out with Lombardi. As for Richard, he's been a rising defensive star in the NFL coaching world for years now, making it somewhat of a surprise to see him fired by the Saints. If things don't pan out, whatever role, Rashard could be tapped as the Payton's defensive coordinator. Possibly, Rashard has also served. He's also served as a defensive coordinator in Seattle over the Legion of Boom defense. So, as you can see, the Saints are the gift that just keep on giving, especially if your name is Sean Payton. We just keep on giving, baby, over and over. So you have your future offensive line coach, Coach Payton, going to reach at him. Joe Lombardi can help out as the OC. Hopefully take Pete Carmichael with him. It don't look like it, though. Payton, please take Pete Carmichael with you. Matter of fact, see if Dennis Allen wants the job up there. Take him with you, too. So they got 3 really solid coaches. Lombardi, Dan Richard should have not got fired. That was a bad firing. And Coach Richard, all he did was coach up one of the top secondaries in the league. Make it make sense. Make it make sense to me. Well, Richard hiring, I kind of made it make sense to myself, because what Richard means is his firing means is that he didn't want to, because listen, he's still there, but Nielsen's gone to Atlanta. So that means that the job would fall to him automatically. Well, it would be good for him to figure out with Dennis Allen if he being Richard could be the full coordinator, meaning control the defense, call the plays. That didn't happen. And I said that, I was like, he has some leverage right now because people are looking at him, and still there are teams out there that don't have coaches that could end up choosing him as a defensive coordinator. These guys, whether they be Ryan Nielsen or Chris Richard, these guys want to be coordinators. They want to be able to control their group. They want to control the defense. They don't need some guy standing over the defense trying to call plays like you know what he's doing, and he don't know what he's doing. So Joe Woods is the guy the Saints bring in for an interview, a direct connection to Dennis Allen. And you lose Nielsen and Richard. I just let's see if it all it's a lot of transition and not enough goodness coming in the team. So anyway, that tickle you. But anyway, let's do a brief recap before we end the stream. We played much of the Jeff Ireland, the assistant, the general manager. Jeff Ireland's interview, he made mention about several key things, including the Jameis Winston. Well, he didn't say James. He talked about the quarterback position. Made some commentary. I don't think he was aiming at Jameis. I think he was just talking to the type of quarterback he wanted. But it is crazy being that Jameis is still under contract. Andy Dalton isn't. Andy Dalton is not under contract with the Saints. He only had a 1-year deal. Jameis still is under contract. And I think Taysom Hill is still too. So really the only true quarterback that you have on your team is Jameis Winston. So if you're looking for an intelligent quarterback, or, would it just be smart for the Saints to keep what they got? But then again, it might not be in their hands. It might be in somebody else's hands. Thank you, Troy. Troy said, hey, Q, this was intentional in my opinion. Absolutely, bro. And people, I was going over it and I was seeing the great, what's up, Marlon? HB, what's happening, fam? My dog, shout out to you. What's up, Ryan? Shout out. Brother Dave, I see you. And thank you for the super chat too, Brother Troy. This is absolutely, listen, the 3rd round draft pick is kind of hedging that. Like when we talked about that, and still there wasn't any explanation. Like you making trades of Sean Payton. There's supposed to be press conferences, aren't they? And Jeff Ireland gets on front the press. He's at the Senior Bowl thing, and they asking him questions, and he's referring the questions to Mickey Loomis. They so back ass that you traded Sean Payton. You don't do a press conference to explain what you did. You don't do that, Mickey. You ain't going. Oh well, hold on, IQ. Now listen, I'm not finished. We're still going through the motions. We're trying to figure it out. That's what we're trying to do. Thank you, Marlon. Shout out to you, bro. So are we tanking? I ain't saying, I'm not thinking we're tanking, but when Troy says intentional, what I glean from that is the fact that the 3rd round, I may go to the 3rd round. The 3rd round picks the smoking bullet, the smoking gun for me, right? It's the smoking gun, because they don't want, nobody's asking the question about why you gave up a 3rd round pick. Now they had a little graph that showed us all the stuff that Denver gave up to get Sean Payton 1 year and Russell Wilson the previous year, right? They give up 3 first rounders, so many second round, whatever it is, right? To get these guys, right? Now, they gave that up because they understood that they're building a team that is in win now mode, right? So you leverage the future for the present. That's what this is. When you give up first round picks, high picks for aging players or players, you have no choice but you're playing for now and not the future. In other words, you get what I'm saying? So that's the game that they're playing because they want to win. They're desperate to win right now. So the third round draft pick that you gave along with Sean Payton out to get a 1 and a 2 back, that didn't make any sense. Why would you surrender the third? Number one, Denver was desperate. And I keep putting this out here. You know, I said this, and this is something that we'll probably revisit at some point, but you have a third round pick the Saints gave up in 2024. Why? Why would you need to do that? Sean Payton was enough draw to get the first and the second round pick. But they will not answer the question about the third round pick. What was that about? Because that's the Saints trying to help out Sean Payton. All of this is Sean Payton. They didn't take extra picks because of Payton. This is Mickey Loomis at work. And notice when these things happen, they don't jump up with press conferences right away to tell you what time it is like most other NFL teams do. Trading Sean Payton away, your best coach and Hall of Fame, future Hall of Fame coach, is a big deal. Why no press conference on that? You see? End of the season, no press conference. We at the Great Saint Think Tank and Who That Nation put so much pressure on Mickey Loomis and them that he had to jump early on the press conference and did a press conference with no answers. And then told the family members in the press conference that they didn't have an off-season plan, his word, not my word, and I called it before he called it. I said, these people don't have a plan. That's why they moving like this. Then they don't do nothing for 2 to 3 weeks into the offseason. So you don't even have a plan for the offseason, and you're a week into the offseason. Remember, he did the press conference a week into the offseason while telling you they don't have a plan for the offseason. And that wasn't just hyperbole. They really didn't have a plan because he had no answers. Like who's staying, who goes. We haven't done any of our player evaluations, Q. Come on now. You can't ask all these questions. No. None of that. He had no answers. We played the press conference and reacted to it right here. So at the end of the day, you know, it's like, you're not, and the problem with that is while other teams that are non-playoff teams, fam, they know what they screwed up on and what they need to do to get it fixed. They're in here looking for coaches. They hire, if they got a general manager that's bad, they're trying to get them a GM. They're doing interviews over several candidates. They're doing interviews with position group coaches, whether it's offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special team guys, right? Position assistant coaches, offensive line, all this kind of stuff. While teams was doing that, the Saints were given permission to other teams to interview their defensive coordinators and assistants and all this kind of stuff. You talk about Ryan Nielsen, he's gone. Coach Richard's gone, and our quarterbacks coach and passing game coordinator, Ronald Curry, got interviewed yesterday for the offensive coordinator position for Tampa. And this is this. And then what are we, 4 weeks, a month into the offseason? And the Saints just did their first interview, or haven't done it yet, but are attempting to do their first interview a month into the offseason, when most of the good coaches are already pilfered. Most of the good position coaches, like a good offensive coordinator or a good person that can help you there, are pilfered. They're gone. They're gone. So once again, the Saints, with that early bird gets the worm type of thing, the Saints way behind. Stuff happened with the Sean Payton move. No press conference. Why? Because questions are going to be asked about why did you give Payton that pick? We needed that pick. We needed that third round draft pick with the rest of, we can't afford to give out picks. You had everything you needed. Why are you giving him help? Well, you know, Q, we got to help him. We're the Saints. If anybody doesn't help people, we got to help them. Well, who helps us, Mickey? Oh, well, don't worry about that. You know, I mean, it's insane. But at the end of the day, man, Jeff Ireland is a guy that knows, you know, the scouting asset. He'll bring some players here. My thing is, I just hope we have the right collection of coaches, and this guy's lining up all his old buddies from his failing ass days from the Raiders, and more than likely he gonna bring his hand-picked quarterback. He's gonna drive his little old car from Las Vegas right to New Orleans, man. My goodness, man, please don't be the case. And of course, we talked about this article and we played some of Jeff Ireland's interview that corresponded with this article, talking about Saints appeared to be ready to move on from Jameis Winston. This is definitely the case. The trust is fractured. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion. And we know that Dennis Allen is going to get, you know, who he wants and he's putting his little band back together, man. So, and speaking of the band, this is Joe Woods, who was fired by the Browns for Jim Schwartz. And how do you know? And we covered this article. Shout out to Bob. He wrote this, and he basically linked Woods. And, you know, Joe Woods and Dennis Allen worked together when he was in Oakland. When he was the head coach, Woods worked with him out there. So he getting the band back together. So you got Joe Woods possibly going to be named the defensive assistant or defensive line. He's a secondary guy. He's a secondary guy. So we'll see if he passes the interview and becomes the guy. And then you got a guy that was linked to Dennis Allen in various reports and insiders, which is Carr. So Dennis Allen is getting the band back together, baby. And then finally, we talk about the article right here, and this is coming from Mile High Huddle, from their side of things, and they're talking about some of the inside baseball that this is a report that came out from one of the local television stations that was talking about people in the mix to join Sean Payton's staff, which is Coach Richard, Dan Ruchar, who was your former everything coach, one of the best coaches we had, and former offensive coordinator and former Saint coach Joe Lombardi. So Coach Payton, he getting his band back together. Only problem is his band might be better than yours. Their music is definitely going to be better. So anyway, that's what I got for y'all today. Shout out to the fam, man. Listen, tonight I wanted to open up the phone lines, but we're gonna run into my Pelican stream that we got going. That'll be coming up at after 7. So what I'll do tomorrow is, I promise you, just join me to Friday tomorrow's stream, and I'll open up the phone lines for the family members to chime in and express their comments as well, because there'll be some more news will break tomorrow. You guys are gonna be raring to go and talk about what's going on. Very interesting, man. Very interesting. And when we make mention of the intentional stuff, I think the Saints are helping. There's no doubt about it. The Saints are helping Sean Payton. They really are. There is no pro. It don't make no sense to get rid of Coach Richard. I mean, why not just give him the defensive coordinator position? Why not? All it takes is, because he's already for you, why not just say, yeah, Coach Richard, you know what? You can have it. You can call the plays. You can have the unit. Why not just give it to him? But this is what I'm saying about Dennis Allen. This is what I'm saying about a coach who think he knows what he's doing and he really don't know. This is one of the dumbest. These type of people I can't stand, because you might work with somebody, or you might have a relative of this type of person, right? You just know the person, something wrong with him. You can look at him and see something wrong with him, right? You know somebody must have dropped them on their head when they was younger. Somebody was he was running to make a catch and wasn't paying attention and ran into the side of a truck. That dude, man, something wrong with that cat. But at the end of the day, when he tries to tell him, hey, bro, don't do that. That's not going to work. Say, sis, don't do that. That's not going to work. You would probably do better to do this. And you know what? No, I'm going to do it my way. And then next thing you know, that's how it ends up. So hold on here, family. Can't hear me. All right, fam. Is that better? I don't know why y'all having problems hearing me now. I don't know. Okay. All right. Can y'all hear now? Put one in the chat if you can hear me, because I didn't touch anything. All right. Put one in the chat. Thank you, Steve. Shout out to Steve, man. Hold on here. All right. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hear me. Y'all should be able to. Okay, it's going in and out, they're saying. Okay, I don't know why that's going on, fam. I don't know why. Okay, you Gucci now. Okay, good. I don't know why that went on like that. Sometimes that don't be me, bro. Sometimes it be this stuff here. I don't know, because it didn't show me an indication. Okay, thank y'all. Thank you. All right, so what I'm saying is, let me just say what I was saying, is that they got a person like that. You work with them. It's a family member. A person like, there's something wrong with this person. They got it in their mind that this is going to work, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. This is going to work. And they're like, dude, I know what I'm doing, that it's not going to work. That is the worst possible idea to do that particular action, to do it that way. It's not efficient. It's going to cost you more time or whatever. I don't care. This is my way. I'm going to do it. And the next thing you know, you got it end up, it's a big failure. It's just crazy. And then at the end of the day, he's sitting up there telling you that we had a bad day at the office. Oh, we just had a bad day at the office. Okay, you. What about the other bad days? We had 10 bad days at the office. Yes, Q, we did. Okay, you happy? We had 10 bad days at the office. Well, I wish we had one good day and put you on the unemployment line. Let you go up there and join Sean Payton. Follow him around, because that's the only success you ever gonna have is following around Sean Payton. Let me tell you. But anyway, man, listen. Let me tell you something. We'll be back Friday. I promise you guys I'll open up the phone lines. I can't really do it right now because we pushed up against my broadcast for my Pelican people. We got the Pelicans playing tonight against the Dallas Mavericks. That's coming on up at 7:30, and I won't open up the phone lines for at least a couple hours. And tomorrow will be a show. Simply we'll do a little news, and then we'll open up the phone lines and do like maybe a 3-hour stream. I haven't done a 3-hour stream in a while. Gonna open up the phone lines, and I know you guys got a lot to talk about, so we're going to let you guys kind of run through it and do what we do. All right, so with that being said, fam, please feel free to do me a service and hit the like button if you hadn't hit the like button. Hit the like button for your boy. Feel free to share the show on the social media feed. Shout out to all the family members that smashed that like button on Facebook. Marlon, thank you. And Troy, thank you for your super chat. Steve, thank you for hitting the button. Jet, shout out to Jet and David. Shout out for hitting that subscribe button. Steven as well. Much love, fam. Kenneth, what's happening, bro? I see you, Kenneth Mitchell. Shout out to you, fam. Listen, I'll be back tomorrow, fam. Y'all join me tomorrow. I promise you. What's up, Colorado? Shout out to you, fam. All right, discipline is key. Okay, F. Sean Payton. I hope nothing but the worst for him, and DA will have a good Sean and get all the credit, just like Sean did in 06. All right, thank you. Jeff Duncan would be very upset with you. Discipline is key, because Jeff Duncan believes that that Sean Payton is not a quitter, even though he quit in the middle of his contract. He's not a quitter. No, he's not. He resigned. Where do you get these people from, man? No, he quit. He quit. Not like Sean Payton, but he quit. Stop pedalizing these people, man. Putting them on on pedestals like they some type of people you can't criticize. No, Payton quit on the Saints. He quit on the Who Dat Nation. So, and usually when you quit on people, newsflash, sometimes they get a little upset with you. When you quit on people, sometimes they get a little upset with you. So you quit and you don't want the smoke for being a quitter. So you got a guy trying to cover the path and say, oh no, you wrong for calling him he's a quitter. He's a quitter. And it's tarnishing it. Shut up. Shut your ass up. Shut up. You done wrote that book on Drew Brees. You eating off them people, man. That's enough is enough, man. Take your little old tired ass somewhere, man. What I'm talking about, man. The Who Dat Nation is the reason why Payton is rich, because we gave money. We gave money to the team. You know what I'm saying? It ain't damn sure ain't your goddamn money, because you got a press badge. You don't pay for nothing. Shut your ass up. You got people, we pay for stuff around here. We don't have no badges to walk in there for free. We should all have badges, to be honest with you, the money we forked in for it and all the stuff we pay for. I keep going back to the concessions in the dome. Let me tell you something. That's worse than theater food. You go down there, boy, you paying double up, triple up for everything up in that place. For everything up in the parking, you got to pay $25 to park. You got to pay all that money for concessions. You got all that gear up in there, that gear 3 times what it's supposed to be worth. Hey, we're going to talk about not criticizing the dude that we gave the money to. Shut your tired ass up, man. Why do these people? I thank the Lord for the great Saint think tank. Let's just be honest with you, man. Because if we didn't have the great Saint think tank and others like this, man, we wouldn't be able to get these people in line, man. They'd be trying to create narratives where you all wrong. Well, you wrong. How dare you criticize Coach Payton? No. We can criticize Payton. We love Coach Payton. We supported him. We supported him for almost 20 years of sellouts. We sold out the dome. You had a long line, a long list of ticket people backed up for the next 5+ years. We put our money where our mouth is, if anything, But at the end of the day, yes, you can criticize Sean Payton because he's a person. He is a person and he does wrong shit all the time. And I covered it on the show all these years. And I was criticizing Sean Payton when others wouldn't. Well, you ain't going to talk about Sean Payton. Well, who is he, God? I can't. So I can ask questions to God, but I can't ask Sean Payton no question. Get your ass people, man. Get your silly ass out of here. I thank the Most High for the great Saint Think Tank, for real, man, because no longer can these people create these narratives without us having something to say about it, and they really don't like that. Because for so long they had it where it was only their way and their words and their agenda. Now that you could become a writer, now that you are a content creator, now that you're a person that's independent and critical thinking, you can buck their agenda and all of their little scripts or their little flirtily words that they like to throw at you, and these little narratives they like to cook up. So we known as we narrative busters. So you making a change. We're making a change together, and we're steering the ship now. And some people don't like that you actually got your words out there and your words is not the same to them. Not because it's not the same, it's just different. It's a different vantage point from the same thing. And most of them say the same thing. They regurgitate the same thing because that's the narrative. You're outside the narrative. You don't have to go by their narrative. You see the game? That's the whole thing. That gives you power. That gives you a different view. That puts you on game. Now that you can become a writer, you don't have to go to school to do it. Now that you're a content creator, you don't have to go to school to do it, but you're sitting up there where they are. You get what I'm saying? Now you understand what time this is. I'm up out of here, man. I'm going to holler at y'all tomorrow. I'm opening the phone lines. Y'all join me on Friday. Let's make a deal right now, right? Y'all promise to join me on Friday at 7 o'clock, and I promise to open up them damn phone lines, all right? We got a deal? All right, bet. All right, I'm going to holler at y'all tomorrow. Much love, who dat, and I'm out.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who dat. I'm a who dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a who dat. Lose or winning, I'm a who dat. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who dat. I'm a who dat. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Running like this, and I'm a who dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a who dat. Lose or winning, I'm a who dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of it. Check out the Pro Shop. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps